It's me, Renee. I'm back. So yeah, I've been back and forth what to do for today's video, and I decided on doing this video. As you see, it's a recommendation video, and yeah, as you see, it's the books that are in the world that have meant a lot to me, and also this might seem a bit dramatic, but yeah, I would say, as you see in the title, I would say this is books that just by the mere existence of them being in the world makes the world a better place. That sounds a bit whoa. Well, I suppose, yeah, at least they make the world a better place for me, at least. I suppose on some level you could say any book that's published makes the world a better place because, like, a book that's published means that an author has published their work, which I mean, lots of work behind a book, not in a book. An editor has been working on it, publisher, etc., etc. So yeah, I suppose all books are important, of course, but yeah, some books kind of, at least I feel like they kind of, they're not so similar to every other book out there, and yeah, they're different and special in their own way. Sounds snowflakey, but yeah, um, yeah, um, yeah. I'm honest, so I'm gonna do it. I just kind of talking myself for a minute there. But yeah, so yesterday was the World's Suicide Prevention Day, and I did like post on it on Instagram. I don't like my Instagram is kind of, it's not personal, but it is private. But yeah, I talk mainly about books there as well because books is me. But yeah, I did like post that one yesterday, and yesterday I was like, yes, people, life is important. Don't go there, and life is beautiful, and blah 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 blah. And then today I'm like, not that I'm considering suicide, but it's more like, I feel like for me also, like, it's more often, it's more kind of more like that old Robbie Williams song, I don't want to die, but I am keen of living either. So yeah, sometimes you don't want to die, but life isn't that easy, so you kind of don't want to live, you just kind of want to be in a limbo, or yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't have to be, you can't live in a limbo, that's not how the world works. So I suppose sometimes you can hide away inside, and that way you live in a limbo, but yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's a bit of a sad-ish start to this video, but yeah, yeah, as you can see, this is gonna be me spreading joy and happiness, and hoping that finds you, and that's like, if you see this, when you see this, or when you see this, not everyone will say this, but if you see this, that's the your day either becomes better, like if your day was good, it becomes better, or if you had a bad day, that you'll just be uplifted from this intro and also this recommendations. So yeah, let's get to the books themselves. So first we have The Clockwork Scarab, or I mean, I could have like had the whole series here, but I'm just gonna show you the first book. And yeah, so this is one of my all-time favorite series. Well, none of the books in this video is going to be a book that I don't like, and probably aren't going to be all-time favorite series, because I mean, yeah, I suppose you could also title list like my all-time favorite books, but like, it's not going to be all them either. But yeah, anywho, this is a middle grade series. It has steampunk elements. It has time travel elements. There's a vampire. What's the word again? A vampire hunters. There's Sherlock Holmes associations and aspects to it. It has multiple point of view. It's, I mean, yeah, it's just an amazing series. It's one of those series I would say also that I have no complaints about it. I mean, some books you read and you kind of feel like, I would love this book if this thing wasn't here or if this thing was better. But sometimes, at least for me, I read a book and I have zero complaints. It's just all amazing in all different ways. Like you don't have something you want that bugs you. No small thing and no big things. It's just everything about it. It's just amazing. And yeah, definitely people should check out the series. And yeah, as I said, it's a series on series with 5 books in the series. It's a spin-off series of another series, which I kind of check out because I love this series so much. And yeah, this book definitely changes the world for the better. It has changed my world for the better. Sorry. And then we have Truly Madly Royally, which this is a standalone. Why a standalone? Um, it is. It's kind of like a Hallmark movie in book form because it's kind of cheesy and kind of has that style to it. Like one of the main characters is a prince of a made-up European country. So I mean, from the from the from outside perspective, if you're just gonna look to it like on the surface, you might think, why is this book so good? Well, yes, the premise is not amazingly original, but still, the execution of it is just so good. It's a love story, but it's also a story about growing up, about being yourself, about community, community, and yeah, it's just a lovely story. I mean, the cover kind of gives you summary vibes, and yeah, kind of also kind of a summary-ish book, and yeah, it definitely highly recommend it. And then, sorry, we have All the Magic by Marion Curley, one of my all-time favorite books ever because of the book itself, but also because of the book as a book. Now you might be thinking, what? Okay, I suppose if you've been there for a while, you might know. But if this is your first video by me, or one of the first, you might not know this. But when I was 12, so at the end of primary, at least at the end of primary, like primary school here in Norway. But yeah, when I was 12, I I started growing apart from my childhood friends, and also I've always loved to read, and I did love to read then as well. But I kind of felt like I'd read all the books in the library. I didn't, but like I kind of felt a bit like that I've kind of finished all the interesting books, and I was kind of looking for new books, and I couldn't really find any books that kind of appealed to me, and I was kind of like thinking like, are there no good books in the world? Which maybe a bit of a teenage or pre-teenage idea, like no good books in the world. Of course there are. I mean, there's so many books out there, but sometimes you could just kind of feel like you don't really run into the good books or the books that are good to you. But yeah, then I went to a flea market and I found this book. Well, I didn't find this book precisely. I found the Norwegian book. So yeah, because this one is translated to Norwegian, and I read it, and it changed my life. I got a new hope for life, kind of, and I got a new hope in like that. Yeah, there are amazing books out there still that I have not read yet, and I was just so happy. And also, yeah, this is Marion Curley's first book, so like after this, I quickly found out she had some other books already out, so like I read her other books, and yeah, she was an early favorite author of mine. And yeah, Marion Curley, Old Magic by Marion Curley. And it's a standalone. Yeah, I suppose you're probably curious about what the book is about itself. It is a standalone time travel story with both with magical elements to it, but it also has a kind of like cursed. Well, it is also a curse, but it's also like a seventh son of a seventh son kind of thing. and yeah, I just kind of very much love those elements. I suppose maybe if I read it for the first time now, I wouldn't love it as much. But yeah, when I read it when I was 12, I absolutely love it. And yeah, I'm thinking you probably could very much still enjoy this if you're watching this and if you're 12, 13, 14 maybe. Or if you're just in the mood for like a bit younger stewed YA. Because yeah, I would say it's YA, but it's not like they don't really talk about sex. There's no, I would say it's on a cleaner, it's on the, yeah, it's on the younger side. There's no swearing and stuff like that. So yeah. Um, and I remember also that very much enjoying like the book how one of the main character, that's Kate and that's Jared, and Kate, she, I mean, yeah, she doesn't have a lot of friends. She's being bullied in school, but she's still kind of happy being herself, and she's pleased with being herself. She doesn't try to be anyone else. She's happy and proud and satisfied with being herself. And I just kind of feel like that's just such a great role model and just character in all, because like, yeah, I mean, sometimes you have people in books who are kind of who try to be different to fit in and stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, shouldn't you just be yourself? I mean, that doesn't mean that you should never try to listen to what people say or change, but like change because you want to change. Don't change because someone else says you have to change. I mean, you are good as you are. Of course, if you're watching this and if you're a Nazi or like a rapist, then yeah, you're not cool. But like, yeah, most people aren't that, and yeah, you're worthy as being yourself. And yeah, Old Magic by Marion Curley holds a big um, place in my heart. Sorry. And then we have Half a Soul, which I read last year. Yeah, some of these books gonna be recent read, some are gonna be uh, way ago reads. Yeah, Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. Sorry. So this one originally came out a few years ago. Like, yeah, this one is the one that came out a few years ago. First, it came out independently, and then Orbit picked it up, and now it's been republished by Orbit. But yeah, it's set in the Regency era. It's a romance, but also kind of story about finding yourself. Not finding yourself. It's a story about, yeah, I would say also a story about finding your soul, because when the main character was 12, 13, a fae, yes, fae, came and tried to take her soul, and she kind of to stop the fae, but not before the fae took half her soul. So for half her life, she's kind of been a bit different. It doesn't say in the book, but at least in my head canon, this kind of makes her neurodiverse, because yeah, she doesn't really get social cues. She doesn't really. She's quite blunt. She doesn't really think like I should be. I should please people because that's what you do. No, if she doesn't like something, she says it as it is, and I just love that. It's just, yeah, great character, and yeah, definitely a character I very much relate to and very much enjoy, and yeah, definitely very much feel seen in this book, and yeah. And then we have Heroine Complex by Sarah Kuhn. This is the first in a series, and yeah, I mean, as you see from cover, it's very colorful, and I will say like the series is also very colorful. Like, it's one of those series, at least for me, or books that, at least for me, when I read it all the time, I feel like I have a huge smile on my face, because it's just so charming and nice and predictable. Like, are you smiling because a book is predictable? Yes, because sometimes it's kind of nice to have like a good predictable book. I mean, and it's not like it's not by the book, by numbers book. It's a book that's predictable in an unpredictable way. I mean, it does things that you kind of could see a mile coming, but it doesn't do it in a way that you think it's gonna happen. And yeah, it's just a lovely, lovely story and series. And definitely kind of feel like this era was slept on, and I feel like this is a book everyone needs to check out. It's very, very good. Sorry. And then we have a recent read again, A Murder on a School Night by Kate Weston. This one came out this year, and yeah, right this year. I suppose couldn't read it last year because before it came out, can't read a book before it came out. Well, if you know the author, you could, but yeah. Anywho, this is a murder mystery set in a high school, or yeah, high school in the UK, but it's also feminist based, and there's also no. This book does have like people wanting to fit in, but it also has people like being weird and being different and being themselves, and yeah, it's just and it's also one of those books I feel like it's so different. I mean, I'm 32, sorry, 31. I've read books all my life, and I would still say this is a book I've read not really anything like it before. I've read murder mysteries set in high school. Murder mysteries are fun, yeah, but murder mysteries were like the main thing with the murders is that they're always murdered by period products. No, that hasn't happened before in books, at least not to my knowledge. And yeah, it's a great look at the world from a feminist view, and yeah, it's just an amazing, amazing book. People need to check it out. And then we have A Diary of a Confused Feminist, also by Kate Weston. This is the first in a duology, and both of these books in this duology very good. It is, I mean, as you might have guessed, it's diary based, so it's kind of like Wednesday, blah blah blah, this and this happened. And so in the beginning of the book, Kat Evans is trying to be a more feminist, so she's kind of looking up like what should feminists do and stuff like that, because she heard like her aunt talking about how she wanted to be a better feminist. And yeah, it's just a very hilarious, very good book of a teen trying to survive in high school in a way, because high school not that easy, but also being a better feminist and fighting the patriarchy, and yeah, those kinds of stuff. So if that kind of stuff intrigues you, check out this book. Sorry. And then we have The Named by Marion Curley. Yes, Marion Curley from Old Magic fame. This is the first in a series. Uh, it's a time travel series, which probably ignited my love for time travel books. And I mean, I've read quite a lot of them now. I would still say that this one kind of does it in the best way, at least for me, I feel like. And probably also has a lot of things that I very much enjoy now in books, probably because of this book. It has multiple point of views. It has time travel, but it has a big cast of characters, not just three characters, but like lots of characters. You see sometimes you see a page or two from like the villain's point of view, and yeah, it's just an amazing, amazing series. Also, I feel like a lot of time travel books, they have like one of the characters in the first book, one of the characters see someone that looks like themselves, and then in the later book they realize, oh, that was myself. That doesn't happen here. They don't really meet themselves in the past or whatnot. And honestly, I quite like it. I mean, yeah, when it happens in other books, you kind of when it's revealed, you kind of understand how it happened, how it works, and all that. but still, I kind of prefer when it doesn't happen. And yeah, The Lanes by Marion Curley, the first in a Guardians of Time series. It was a trilogy, and then we got a fourth book. And yeah, there's been rumors about making a fifth book. So yeah, right now I'm just gonna call it a series. And yeah, it's it's one of those amazing books that I have zero complaints about. Zero complaints. People need to check it out. Definitely, definitely a book that's changed my life, and I think changed a lot of people's lives in the world because it is. I mean, it has gotten a lot of uh, different. Uh, it's been republished from different covers, and that doesn't happen if no one reads the book. So yeah. Sorry. And then we have Love You to Death and High Stakes, the first two in the Many Two series by Meg Cabot. One of my all-time favorite series again. I read this for the first time when I was 13. Yeah, I was 13. And sorry. And I just love how. Okay, so this one it came out. So the first one is no, sorry, the first one. The last one is actually called Twilight, but it came out 2 years before Twilight, the vampire book. So it's not plagiarism. But yeah, I love how this one includes ghosts, and there's a ghost and paranormal aspect to it. But I would say like for most part, it's just kind of a teen living her life, trying to survive high school. But then there's ghosts everywhere, so like it's supernatural, but it's more like kind of a bit of a side note here and there. And I just also love how I mean that's main character Susanna Simon. She's very much herself, and she's like, I'm gonna be me, and you accept me as who I am, and if not, I'm not gonna care. And she's just like, she has sass, but she has confidence, and yeah, I just love her as a character. Yeah, but she's not like one of those people who like, I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna come with like sassy comments, but I'm not really gonna like anyone else. No, she has like a big heart, in addition to like being the sassy girl, but like still knowing stuff. And yeah, I just love her so much. And yeah, I'm gonna mention it now. So a few years ago, there was rumors about this being a TV series, well, a movie at Netflix. Sadly, that earlier this year we heard that didn't happen, but now it's happening again, but just somewhere else. I'm thinking. So yeah, very excited for that. Then we have a more recent read again. As I said, I have a bit of both really. Nick Blake and the Remarkables by Angie Thomas. So this is the first in a series, and yeah, I read it a few months ago, July, something like that. And yeah, honestly, it rocked my world. It's a book that's yeah, as I said, a lot of other books in this video, it changed my world. It's not really a book you see often. Yeah, it's a middle grade and it's a middle grade fantasy, which it's not that uncommon. But it's a middle grade fantasy with a African American main character, which is not very common, I would say, still. And also a very much yeah, it's a middle grade fantasy with like it's set in a world where like you have a parallel world to ours, and I very much like the parallel worlds. And yet you have like some cities that are like completely fantastical, and then you have like New Orleans has like a mundane side and a fantastical side. So yeah, you have some places that are both fantastical or not and human. And yeah, I just love like the world building on this and the world that this exists in. I love the characters. I love the plots. I just have zero complaints, and I'm just yeah. very, very excited to read more in this series when it comes out more. And definitely a book people should check out. It is one of my favorite books of this year. Definitely is that. Sorry. And then we have a red, white, and royal blue. Yeah, me along with everyone else or a lot of other people have been so much in love with them with this book. Although, I suppose, confession, I have not seen the movie yet. At first, I was like, I want to see it now. Like, I heard, like, although it's quite different in the book, I still want to see it. But yeah, so yeah, this book, it's just kind of like a hug in a book because it's just so lovely. And yeah, of course, there's conflict because you need conflict in a book, but also like I just love these characters meeting together, meeting each other, and at first butting heads and then becoming friends and falling slowly or quickly in love. And also like the side characters are also very much enjoying this. I love how even though it's a romance, yeah, they like will still say like all the characters are kind of fleshed out. And I'm kind of sad that a lot of the characters from this book sadly aren't included in the movie, which I kind of feel like it's kind of lost, I think, there really now. But yeah, Red, White, Royal Blue definitely has changed my world. Like I've read it 3 times, and it is it's a book that's yeah definitely changed my world. I love it so much. And then we have the Skullduggery Pleasant series here. Uh, here, what's the word? Represented by Armageddon Outer here, which is a novel, a collection of short stories. But yeah, what I'm going to focus on here is Skullduggery Pleasant. So we read the first in the series when I was 19, and I've been reading on in the series ever since. I mean, now I suppose now I'm not a die-hard fan as I would say I was before, but I still would say like I mean, it still holds very much up. I mean, the main character is a skeleton, or one main character is a skeleton who can talk and eat and whatnot. Even though, like, he can eat, yes, he can eat. It's, I mean, the logistics and the 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 rules of how he exists is not quite clear, but he does. Like, he's a skeleton. He can think and talk and whatever. I mean, he's a skeleton, so like often he has a hat that he kind of has to hide it behind because if he's gonna walk around with humans, you'll be like, he doesn't have a face. So, but yeah, Skullduggery Pheasant, yeah, he's very fun, very different. I mean, like one of the first scenes you see him, he climbs in through a window, and the other character is like, "Why didn't you use the door? The door's open." And he said, "Doors are for people with no imagination." And yeah, I just love that quote. Really, it's just yeah. This series is full of quotes, full of great characters, full of great plot, good everything. I would say the only thing that I have slightly to complain about this series, maybe, is that at times it is quite scary. Though what I do then, I just kind of end up skimming it and or just kind of skipping the scary bits, which yeah, I do that sometimes. But yeah, all in all, it's just an amazing series that's at least changed my world, and I think it changed a lot of other people's worlds as well. And yeah, Skullduggery Pheasants, definitely a series people need to check out. And then we have lots of more books. Don't go yet. So maybe I should say in the beginning of this video, find a cup of tea or something because it's gonna be a while. But yeah. Then we have Margaret Mertz Takes It Down by Kerry McCrossan and Ian McMurphy. So this is kind of think Veronica Mars, but like more modern and more internet based, because like the main character Margaret, she kind of helps people with their troubles online. So like if they're being bullied online, stuff like that, she can help them. And then in this first book, she kind of goes after some slut shaming people in the high school that she goes to, and things happen, and it's just. I mean, it's a very funny book. It's a very different book, I would say. It is a book that changed my life. I felt quite seen because, like, the main character, she doesn't have a lot of friends and she's not really good socially, like in some ways, which is also me. And yeah, and also yeah, definitely gives. Sorry, sorry, I'm saying to you. Should say it to myself. It gives the many of the Veronica Mars vibes, which yeah, yeah, I just love her. So of course I'm gonna love this book as well, which I do so much. So yeah. Then we have The Very Secret Society of Regular Witches. I read this last year, and yeah, it's a book of found family. It's a book of witches. It's a book of England, which kind of rule in England, and kind of nice to like have a book that's not set in New York, or sometimes you feel like all the books are set in New York or LA, so it's fun with books at other places really. And this also it has a romance. I would say it's more like a B plot than an A plot. Really, I would say like I wouldn't call this a romance book because I would say like you could take out the romance plot line and still have a very good book in there. But the romance is a good side note. I do enjoy it, and yeah, it's just a very good book. I love this world. So far, I think Sanu had said that she's not going to write a sequel. But I'm kind of hoping that she'll write a companion because I feel like you could easily write a companion in this series. I feel like this world, I feel like could be expanded and have like prequels and sidequels and whatever's. So hopefully that will happen. I do know she's writing, or she's coming up with another witch book that's coming up in the fall, no, next year. It's coming out. So yeah, of course, very excited for that. And then we have me hitting myself with a book. I know, logical. Finicking of the Rock by Melina Machata. This is the first in a high fantasy companion series trilogy. It came out in the early 2000s. Or did it come out in? I'm a bit unsure here. Really, when it came out? Yeah, well, earlier. For some reason, I thought it came out in 2001. Double check, it came out in 2008. But still a while ago. So, yeah, Thinking of the Rock. It's a great high fantasy world. It's a high fantasy world that kind of it's been through war and they kind of like want to save the kingdom. So it's kind of like tropey and kind of predictable and old style, but it's still kind of written in a new way. And yeah, I just love the characters, love the world building, love the story. Definitely highly recommend it. And yeah, actually myself, I was brought into it, made aware of this book by, I want to say Peruse Project. I think it's her that's kind of talking about this book for like 10 years or something like. I think it was her, yeah. So yeah, she definitely has did right by recommending this book because it is amazing. I almost fell down, which not good. And then we have Starry Nights by Daisy Whitney. This is a standalone YA. It's, as you might have guessed, set in Paris. And you might guess from the cover that this is a romance. I would say it's more a book with a romance in it. I wouldn't say it's a romance per se, really. And also, like, even if it's a romance, well, it is like it's a romance in some parts. It's a friends to enemies. Sorry, it's a friends to lovers uh, romance, which is my favorite trope anyway. But I would say like the main thing with this book is that it's kind of was in a way it's kind of nice at a museum with young adults because so this guy he works at a art museum and then he discovers one day that at night the art comes to life and yeah, I mean that's just kind of yeah, I love that concept and I've read it several times and it gets cheery and emotional every time and yeah, it's just amazing, amazing book. And then we have two books that are kind of in the same vein, so I'm gonna talk about them together because they're in the same series. It is An Extraordinary Union and A Hope Divided. It's Alyssa Cole's A League of a novel of Civil War of the A League of Extraordinary Union. I think the series is called. Well, different things, but I think it's called. Yeah. Anywho, it's a trilogy, yes, of companion books set during the Civil War in the United States with African Americans as the main characters, which is something that happens a lot. Not that I can claim to have read a lot of books about the Civil War in the U.S. I do believe I don't think there's a lot of fictionalized books about African Americans. So that just in itself makes it so good and so different. And it kind of course, it kind of looks at things from a different perspective. If you like, if like, it wouldn't do that if it was a white main character. And I just very much like how this, yeah, setting and then the characters and the plots and yeah, again, one of the series or character cast books where I have zero complaints. It's just amazing, amazing books, book series. And then we have Gracing by Kristen Cashore. So this is also one of my favorite series. I got it, well, as a lot of these books are. I was recommended by a friend in high school. I got it from a library and I fell in love with it. And yeah, it is quite different than a lot of other books. It has romance in it, but that's not the main thing at all. It has like a big message in it, which I yeah very much likes how it kind of very much makes you think, and yeah, quite like that in books now and then. And yeah, Riesling, Kristen Casual. If you have not read it yet, you need to change it and read it. You need to change it. To change that, you need to read it now. Then we have Improbability of Love by Hannah Rothschild. So this is a book where it's set around art in like the art environment, and it's like they find like a missing painting from like a famous painter, and then so you see like what happens around that from the artist, from the seller, like from all these different point of views. But you also have the point of view of the canvas, like the canvas that's kind of no, so not the canvas, the frame that's kind of around the art, which yeah, just so fun. Like having that in the book is just so different, and yeah, very good book. And then we have Geek Girl by Holly Smale, a book that I love so much. A book where main character in the beginning of the series he gets quite bullied, and I very much saw myself in that. Like Harriet, I did spend some time now and then in bathrooms crying, which is something that you do now and then. But Harriet, I mean, she ends up having a world change because she ends up becoming a model because of happenstance, and then different things happen. But I also still love how she's always herself. She's never trying to be someone else. She's always herself. And also, yeah, she's neurodivergent. She has autism. It's kind of it's I mean it's head canon, but it's also canon that she has autism, and it just isn't written on page. But like the author discovered she had autism a few years ago after finishing the series, and then she said like, yes, Harriet also has autism, so it is canon, even though it's not in the books. It's also becoming a Netflix TV series. They filmed it this year. It's coming up next year. I'm very excited for that. And then we have Out of the Blue by Jason June. This is a standalone. It's a love story between a mer person and a gay teen, but it's also about them growing up, about them going through life, or yeah, going through life sounds a bit ground, but like yeah. So it takes place over a few weeks, and a lot of things happen these few weeks. And yeah, it's a summary book. It's a book that changed my life, I would say. Yeah, probably a book that could change your life if you haven't read it yet. You definitely should. And then we have Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows. So this is the first in the series. It's I'm not quite sure if this is YA middle grade. I'm not quite remember what's like the main character. Is he 13 or is he 15? Anyway, so the main character pretty early on discovers that Latinx myths are real, and things are happening and things are going down. And yeah, I very much enjoyed like the exploration of the Latinx mythology, but also the characters, this world. Again, zero complaints. It's just yeah, amazing book. I have a second book, but for some reason, I mean, this is the first book. You see, first book. For some reason, the second book is like double the size. So like it's like this big. So I'm a bit intimidated to start the second book, but yeah, if you haven't read this first book, you definitely should. And then we have A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, which I read earlier this year. Had it on my list, on my sorry, on my radar for quite a while. I read it this year, and yeah, it is different than anything you could ever imagine. Yeah, anything that you could ever imagine. It's so different. I mean, you could compare it to some things in some ways, but for most part, it is quite uniquely its own thing. And it kind of, as well, I could tell you more about it, but I kind of feel like it's kind of fun to go into this book knowing that, not knowing that much. And we just like looking at the title, at the cover, and thinking like, that's an interesting title and a cover, like a mean-looking cookie. Hmm. And yeah, kind of, we just want you to go into reading this book with no expectations and no ideas to begin with, because that's kind of fun sometimes, isn't it? And yeah, yes. Then we have sorry, give me a little moment. Just go fix it there. Yes. Then we have yeah, Heroic Failures by Stephen Pyle. Oh, sorry, the ultimate book of uh, heroic failures. So this is a non-fiction book, which one of few non-fiction books in this video. They do warm its way in my heart now and then. In this book, it's just kind of it's different anecdotes about real life things that has happened. For example, the boat trip that required 11 lifeboats call-outs. The mugger who left his victim 250 better off. and the worst football team on the planet, which is actually becoming a movie by Taika Waititi. But yeah, it's just, I mean, sometimes you think like this can't be real, but yeah, it is all real. Things from real life, like and most of it happened really in the last 100 years, but something's happened before that also as well. Like for example, to, today there's what's the word again? Election here in Norway. So like election anecdote from this book. There was once an election in a small town in US where no one voted. No one. Not even people who were running for election. The people who were running for election for like, people are gonna vote for me, and they kind of decided to go and like do their hair instead. And then the people living in the town, they kind of didn't prioritize it, and then no one voted. Which, yeah, it's quite weird. That's not a thing that happens often, but it has happened. And yeah, definitely a book that kind of entertains you to like the core. It makes me think like, well, at least nothing I've done has been this awful. And also make you wonder like, oh my god, the world is just so bizarre and strange and full of beauty and wonder and weirdness. And yeah, amazing, amazing book. And then we have, yeah, no, that way. The Fiancé Farce by Alexandria Belfer. This book also came out this year, and I have zero complaints about it. Absolutely zero. I mean, I suppose you could think like, how's this gonna work because it's a marriage of convenience trope, even though it's set in contemporary US. It still works. It still works, and so you see both sides when you read the story. Like it's multiple point of view. You love the characters; they're believable and great, and the side characters, the main characters, the plot line, it's just all amazing. It's set in a book world, like one of the main characters runs a bookstore, so yeah, it is amazing. Amazing. People need to check it out. Then we have sorry, Pride by Tim Tate and LGSM. So this is a book of interviews with people from LGSM. It was the people who, in the 80s, they helped the Welsh people strike, and the LGSM was the local group in London of gay and lesbian and bisexual uh, people who kind of banded together and like made a group. And yeah, kind of. So this is a kind of meeting of the minors in Welsh meeting the queer people in the US in the England, and yeah, it's a book of solidarity. It's a book about being different. It's a book about life, and yeah, highly recommend it, and also highly recommend the movie. Both very much recommended. And then last but not least, Vildir by Håkon Markus. This is a Norwegian book I just finished. It's so I suppose it just came out like recently, so it doesn't have, it's just out in Norwegian. It's not out in like Swedish or any other languages, but hopefully it will in the future because it is the first in the series. And there's shape shifting. There's great like parallel universe, parallel world. Uh, I mean, it's just great plot. It's yeah, one of those books again where I have zero complaints. It's done so good. Also, it's a debut book by this author, so I'm like, did you find like the blood of some other author that you're drinking? Like, how did you become so successful? Like, it's your first book. What happened? How did you do it? But, yeah. And that, my dear friends, is, well, maybe not all, but yeah, a lot of the books that I feel like make the world better for them just existing. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It got a bit long, but yeah, I'll write in the comment in the description that this is a long video. Well, you'll see, but yeah, and that you should have a snack ready, or I suppose you could just watch this in pieces. You don't have to watch it in one go, but yeah. And see you soon. Bye.